Hi, I'm John. This is my show, An American Scheme, where I'm proving that Diana Ross is Michael Jackson's actual mother. And I'm going to play you this little audio recording, and then I'm going to show you some photos of Michael Jackson, Smokey Robinson, and Joseph Jackson. And I'm going to show you how Joseph Jackson and Michael Jackson, they definitely don't have the same nose. And not only do they not have the same nose, Michael tells you in this recording that Joseph specifically told him, "You're not my kid." He says, "You got such a big nose, you know." And so listen to this part right here, and then how he says, because right there he'll even say, "You're not my child," and then he says, "They all used to call me Big Nose." Okay, so I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to show you some photos to show you like that was really happening. The other part, really quick, I want to tell you is that. The reason I don't do this type of video is that I'm not good at editing photos together, and then also collecting like a lot of evidence, doing that kind of research, like it's something about it is a little harder for me to actually do it because I don't do editing and stuff, and then my real life is so busy that I can't. It's harder for me to put videos like this together. So. And then the other thing is, my story, I've always wanted it to be clear that my story did not start I did not start my story saying, "Oh, I'm going to say that Smokey Robinson and Diana Ross are Michael Jackson's parents." That has nothing to do with it. My story started with where I thought, I first had the original idea, okay, could Diana Ross be Michael Jackson's mother? Then I started investigating the Diana Ross and her situation. I was like, well, if she had gotten pregnant, it would have been at this time, like around 1957. Michael's born in August 29th of 1958, right? So I had to see, well, who was she hanging around with at the time where she would have got pregnant? And then through my research, I found out that she was hanging around with Smokey Robinson, that it was all about Smokey Robinson bringing her to Motown. And then later in life, you have Diana Ross proclaiming on the Arsenio Hall show that Smokey Robinson was her first love. And she actually says in that interview that she was sleeping in Smokey Robinson's house at that time because Diana Ross was also best friends with Smokey's cousin. That allowed Diana to stay over at Sharon's house, but Sharon's house is Smokey's house. So that's how Smokey came into the picture. And then I started looking and researching, and I found it was Smokey's the dad. That's how Smokey came into the picture. I didn't like create a story based off of Smokey Robinson like that at all. He wasn't even in the picture when I started my investigation. Through the process of my investigation, that's how Smokey came into it. So first, let me play you this little audio so you can understand what we're talking about.
And Jeff would tell me, "Oh, you're so black," or "You have such a big nose." He told me you were black? Yes, when I was little. "You are so black. You don't look like my child. Your nose is so big." And they used to call me Big Nose and stuff.
Okay. I'm going to play it again because it's so important.
And Jeff would tell me, "Oh, you're so black," or "You have such a big nose." He told me you were black?
This part here. "Yes, when I was little, you look so black. You don't look like my child. Your nose is so big." Okay?
Yes, when I was little. "You are so black. You don't look like my child. Your nose is so big."
I mean, he directly tells you exactly. What was Joseph telling him? "Your nose is so big. You don't look like my child." And then they all would call him Big Nose. Okay? So, see how small Joseph Jackson's nose is? He got a tiny little nose. Okay? Michael's nose, I see, this is the thing too, is I have all these pictures set up, and so different ones have different angles and stuff, so I could show you, it's like I'm not sure I'm going to click on the right one here, but that's a good one. Okay, so Michael's nose, clearly, Michael's got a big nose. And so it's not only, you can see, what you see there is that it's Michael's nose and lips and chins are like Smokey. Then there's more of a combination with Smokey's eyes and Diana Ross's eyes. He's got there, that's why, but then there's like the jaw structure. The Diana and Michael have a similar jaw structure or the bone structure. And there's a lot of different things. So, okay, now see Smokey Robinson, big nose. That's Michael Jackson's nose, that's Michael Jackson's lips, that's Michael Jackson's chin, that's Michael Jackson's father. That's his real father. That's why Joseph specifically was saying, you don't got my nose. Look how little that nose is, right? That tiny little nose compared to Smokey Robinson's big nose and Michael Jackson's big nose. I mean, that's who his father is. I've done all the massive research. So for me, it's like not even up for debate. You people, anybody who wants to argue this, you're arguing a dead story. I've killed that old story. I've proven it with hardcore facts and evidence. And until you can look at my evidence and prove that my evidence is wrong, you can't argue your stupid old story. I killed your story. It's dead. Michael's not part of the frickin' Jackson family. Michael Jackson's real parents are Diana Ross and Smokey Robinson. It happened exactly at the same time that Motown was being developed. There was no Motown. If you look at Michael Jackson's birth date, August 29th of 1958, that's before Tamla Records is even established. They don't establish Tamla until 1959. And then Motown's like in 60 or 61 that it actually is officially established. The whole development of Motown was hindered because right when Berry Gordy met Smokey Robinson, they started to develop the record company together. Diana Ross got pregnant by Smokey, and then they had to figure out, well, what are we going to do? Because Berry Gordy was not going to build his company with his number one artist being Smokey Robinson, and having Smokey Robinson have a kid from a 14-year-old girl in the neighborhood. That could have ruined the whole thing. That's why the kid had to go. And Joseph Jackson and Berry Gordy are the same age, and I've proven that they're doing the same things and they're interested in the same things like boxing and music. They're around the same environment at the same time. They had a friendship. They knew each other. That's how Michael ended up being given to the Jackson family, because Berry Gordy and Joseph Jackson knew each other. And I've documented all this stuff. I've explained it all. And that's why the recording, when Michael's telling you, what would Joseph say? Your nose that's not my nose. You got a big nose. You don't even look like my child. But for some reason, everybody in the world keeps thinking Michael looks like the Jacksons. He does not. Even Joseph was teasing him, telling him, you don't even look like my child. Look at that big nose you got. Okay? And who else has a big nose? Smokey Robinson. He's got the fat lips like Michael. That's Michael Jackson's real father. Now I'll just go through some pictures here. There's Joseph with his little flat, like punched in nose. He's ugly. Joseph Jackson's an ugly man. He's not a good looking man. Like I don't have problems saying like this man is a good looking man or that man's not good looking. You know, I can say that Joseph is not a good looking man. Smokey Robinson's a good looking guy. He's good looking. That's where Michael gets his frickin' looks from. Look there's Joseph and Michael. There's Joseph with his little beady round eyes, his little tiny nose punched in. He's ugly. And there's Michael. Michael's a good looking kid. Michael's got a big nose. Just like Joseph said, you got a big nose. You don't look like my child. That's not my nose. That's what he was telling him because it was the truth. Look at Joseph's little, tiny little nose. He's got a tiny little nose. And what would he tell Michael? You got a big nose. That's not my nose. You don't look like my child. Because right off of the bat, he was teasing Michael with that shit because Michael wasn't his kid. And he was teasing him with that shit. That's why Michael ended up growing up and having this crazy, weird personality that nobody understands. And it's like, well, if you would understand that Michael thought he was a Jackson, so all of the beatings that Joseph and all the teasing and everything that would occur, all of that stuff that would occur, Michael just thought, oh, okay, well, I'm part of the family. This is what happens and shit, right? But as he grew up, Michael then realized, oh, I wasn't a part of the family the whole time. Like, look at that guy. That's Michael's dad. Think about when Michael gets older and how he starts to grow into his adult face. That's his adult face right there. There's his nose, his lips, and his chin. And his eyes. Look at Smokey's eyes. They're not those beady, round eyes that Joseph has. Michael has more like with the Diana Ross and Smokey Robinson. This is where he gets all of his features from. Not from this guy. The Jacksons have beady round eyes and a small nose, not like the big nose like Smokey does, and pretty eyes and nice lips on Smokey. Look at Joseph. He's so ugly. And you people can't see the difference between the good-looking Michael Jackson and the ugly Joseph Jackson. It's crazy. You know? Smokey, big nose. Big nose. Good looking. Talent. He can sing. Write songs. Just like his child Michael Jackson. Who's this? This guy can't sing. He can't write any songs. Look at that stupid little nose. And he used to tease Michael Jackson, and then Michael Jackson finds out the truth when Diana Ross comes and tells him the truth when he's 10. So then Michael had to live in limbo. He's like lost. He's lost. And then he's got all the fans. He's got to live up to the image of being a Jackson. But now Diana Ross is saying, oh, you're my child, and she's loving on him. So Michael's trying to have to fulfill her needs of trying to be the mother coming back into his life. And at that time, Michael's also becoming a giant star, having to deal with the public, and he's dealing with Motown, trying to control him, saying, act this way, be this way. Joseph's trying to control Michael because Michael's obviously the one with the talent. Without Michael, there is no Jackson 5. Jackson 5 never would have made it with the talent they got. None of them can really sing like Michael. They're not the songwriters. They're not the real artist. But who is? Oh, Smokey. Smokey. Smokey's the singer. Smokey's the artist who writes songs. I don't know why you people keep yelling at me when Joseph Jackson telling you, what Michael Jackson telling you what Joseph was saying to him when his kid was, you don't look like my kid, you got a big nose. It's ridiculous that people just want to yell at me and say all the stupid stories that they lied to your whole life. And think about the reality. Michael Jackson lived with this lie his entire life and died with it. Nobody stood up for him. And now you people think you're going to come and yell at me and you think you're standing up for Michael Jackson? You're absolutely doing nothing for him. Start looking into the truth. Deal with reality. You want to freaking make Michael Jackson happy? Freaking deal with reality, because this is the only thing that clears up his legacy and allows him to rest in peace.